Welcome, lords and ladies, to yet another historically inspired battle on Medieval Kingdoms, the mod for Total War Attila. I hope you have your swords and shields ready, or even perhaps your arquebus, because today we travel to Russia in 1572, in a village 50 kilometers, or for us Americans, 31 miles south of Moscow. The village is known as Molodi and would witness the epic conclusion of the Russo-Crimean War of 1570 to 1572. So, I welcome you to the Battle of Molodi, a multi-day conflict between the Tsardom of Russia and the Crimean Khanate. So to fully grasp why these two factions were in conflict, here is a clip from Epic History briefly covering the topic. They'll explain it way better than I ever could.
His son, Ivan IV, was crowned the first Tsar of Russia. He would be remembered as Ivan the Terrible. Ivan conquered Tatar lands in Kazan and Astrakhan, but was defeated in the Livonian War by Sweden and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Russia was still vulnerable. Raiders from the Crimean Khanate were able to burn Moscow itself. But the next year, Russian forces routed the Tatars at Molodi, just south of the city.
So Epic History is one of my favorite history channels on YouTube, and I would greatly appreciate it if you checked them out and gave them a subscribe. They have amazing videos and documentaries on there. So the battle started on the 29th of July and ended on August 2nd with a Russian victory. The fight was intense and mostly consisted of close quarter combat, which played to the Russian strength and nullified the Tatars' infamous bow skills. The Russians also had great success using their gunpowder weaponry, such as their cannons and, of course, the great arquebus. Through my extensive research, Wikipedia, it is uncertain how many casualties were inflicted on both sides, and even the estimated strengths of the two armies varies widely. For the Russians, historians estimate their army strength at 20 to 70,000 men. For the Crimean Khanate, it's between roughly 60 to 120,000 men. So if we cut right into the middle, this is roughly what their armies would have looked like on the field. Looking at this visual representation, there is no surprise that this battle lasted for many days. So, now that we've gotten the historical context of this great conflict, let's now jump into the historically inspired battle created by Cassius and his friends. The battle is set on an open field with the defenders, or the Russians, having a hill to simulate their superior defensive position. Representing the Tsardom of Russia, led by Ivan the Terrible, are two armies of Kiev, full of diverse units such as cannons, guns, and mounted cav. Now, if we head over to the other side, looking at the invaders, the Crimean Khanate is represented by the Principality of Moldavia. And since historically the Ottomans supported the Crimean Khanate with janissaries, they will also be represented in this battle with an in-game faction known as, well, the Ottoman Sultanate. And of course, both these armies are containing similar builds, utilizing guns, cannons, and of course, the infamous horse archers. So fellow knights, sit back and relax, get a snack or two, and enjoy the show. Will history repeat and Russia claim victory, or will the Crimean Khanate seek revenge and burn Moscow down once again? Welcome to the Battle of Molodi. Well, there you have it, guys. The artillery is making themselves known, and the battle is going to begin with a gruesome bombardment between both sides, really. You can see that they're going for the... Oh, that guy got hit. He went flying. Oh, they are beginning with artillery bombardment. No surprise there. It's going to start off a little bit slow. Oh, they just took out an artillery piece right there for... yeah, Russia just lost an artillery piece. So if we quickly zoom out, since we're going to have a little bit of time here as both armies kind of establish their positions and kind of open fire at each other, we can kind of look at some critical units and look at their positioning and see what we might expect. So if we go to the tactical view, the blue and yellow armies, those are the Russian forces, and the red is the Crimean Khanate with the Ottoman forces. So just keep that in mind as you're watching the battle play out. And like I said, the artillery is going to be opening fire. They've got it mostly in the center. Both of them have, I think both armies are kind of positioned identically, so words are hard today. But yeah, they've got cav on the flanks, and then infantry, archers, artillery in the center. Same thing for the Ottomans and the Crimean Khanate. Got the cav on the flanks, infantry in the center, and the artillery in the very center. And they also have their guns in the center as well. The Russian army, I love this army, even Medieval 2 Total War. The reason I love the Russians so much is because their units are so versatile. Sure, they're not the best at anything per se. They don't have the best infantry. They don't have the best horse archers. They don't have the best archers, but all of these units are extremely versatile, so they can hold their own in different situations. So for example, if we look at the horse archers they have over here, so Russia has the Devlet. These guys are good. They're not bad. When I say they're not the best, they're still very good at what they do, but they're also very excellent in fighting in close combat. So we're going to see these guys come in clutch. We'll see if the player here, the commander, uses them aggressively. But that's why I like the Russian army, because they're so versatile. They're like a jack of all trade. Sure, they're not a master at any one thing, but they're really good at a lot of things. And I think that's what gives them the edge in many situations. Let's go over here. I want to look at another important unit that they have. These are going to be the gunners here. So I believe it's pronounced the Streletsy. I don't know. I'm slaughtering it. But they have like a birdish axe with their arquebus in the back here. You see them in the back of their, got it like ready to go. So again, another versatile unit. These guys are going to be shooting from afar, and then if they do get charged, they're more than capable of handling them or protecting themselves and handling the enemy, because they are equipped with big ol' axes that are very scary to horses. Now let's go look at the Khanate side, and of course the Ottomans. And again, they've got a similar build, but they do have very good Janissary guns here that are going to be very threatening. They don't have the advantage of the hill, but I still think they have fantastic range. And look at the long barrels here. These guns are going to be pretty accurate. Not as accurate as guns of today, obviously. But the long rifle should help their range, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that translates into the game, but I'm pretty sure they're going to have good range. They've got solid infantry. Your typical spears, typical swords. They got some halberdiers here as well. That's going to be great for holding like the front line. Got more guns over here as well. But what they really have strength in is probably going to be their horses. They have really good cav, and they also have really good horse archers. If I can find, oh, here they are. Here's some horse archers. These are the Tatars, right? So they're going to be really excellent. Look how fast they can zoom around the battlefield, get some hit and runs, and stay out of danger. It's going to be interesting to see how these players kind of approach this. Here we go. Looks like the battle is starting to pick up here. We got our first couple of volleys. Look at the arrows coming in. Not killing too many. Mostly bouncing off this armor of this heavy bow cav. And they are... but the guns. I don't know if you saw that. The guns utterly annihilated these guys. You might have to go back and watch that one. If you saw, there was a flash of smoke, and this is what was left behind. This is how insanely dangerous those guns are, and that's something that the Crimean Khanate needs to look out for. We also have a little bit of an engagement over here as well. One thing I forgot to mention in the intro of this video, guys, is that we are using some sub mods for Medieval Kingdoms. I have all the sub mods linked in the video description. Basically, all they do is make the animations a little bit more accurate, and the reloading animation for the guns is better. It looks more realistic. So yeah, again, links to those in the video description so you can check them out. Let's go back over this way where we're getting extremely aggressive horseplay. Some Tartars moving in aggressively, dropping their bows and changing to their swords. They are going in for a charge, but they are charging a spear unit. Now, this is a bow unit technically, but they do have spears as well. So that charge is going to be fruitless. It's not going to lead to anything too crucial there. It's not going to really change anything drastically. Thankfully, the Khanate forces got out of there quickly, so they didn't take too many losses there. But yeah, they're going to just kind of, you know, be a little be a little stubborn and stop and fire at these guys as they fall back a little bit. But they're not done. Look how aggressive he's being with these horse archers, looking for opportunities. Okay, he's gonna get out of there. Yeah, I don't know what. I guess he was just scouting or something. I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he's still just kind of flirting around. Look at this, just flirting around. So let's. Oh, and then we got to charge over this way. Look at this. Russia's giving him a taste of his own medicine. So this is the Devor. Like I said, guys, the Devor are very deadly, very scary units. And now as they retreat, they're going to pop some shots at the pursuing cav of the enemy. That is so awesome. That's so cool. Look at this. Look how cool this battlefield looks right here. It is just chaos. We've got some Lancer cav coming in, some heavy cav from the Crimean Khanate. They are going to move in and potentially start a melee battle here. Here comes horse archers in the center. They're once again charging into the infantry, but they're charging these guns who, like I said, are equipped with Birdish axes and normal axes as well. So they're going to be able to hold their own. We also have infantry closing in to support them. And guys, this battle is really picking up here. And look at, oh, did the guns fire? I don't know, but they have taken many casualties. I don't know if that's from archers or gunfire. Oh, there's the guns. There's the guns. And yes, they are opening fire, guys. I'm not sure. Oh, they're shooting at the horses way up here, which causes them to break. They're also fighting spears, which is not a smart idea from the Khanate side there. Don't want to charge into spears like that. Over on this side, it looks like the guns have gotten awfully close. No gunfire just yet over here. Just a lot of artillery fire. We've got, ooh, look at this. We got horses. There it is. Oh, wow. Look at the carnage. Look at the damage it has done. Wow. Okay. Things are getting spicy over here as the Russians are laying down their authority. They are firing with the arquebuses or whatever. They are opening fire on the Khanate's forces. And let's not forget, we do have the Janissaries here, but I didn't see them open fire, I don't believe. Look at the artillery just constantly coming in on both of their positions, really. Let's zoom out, make sure we're not missing anything. And sure enough, we are missing some stuff. We got a little bit of a cav engagement going on this side. Melee cav, horse archers pushing in. We got a little brawl going on in the center as well. Guys, things are getting pretty crazy right here. This is heavy cav taking on heavy cav. And look at this. We got a general on the Khanate side who is in the thick of it with against some Eastern chivalrous knights. We also have another cav unit supporting their general, but this is very risky. We could lose a general early on, and this is the Crimean general. So if he goes down, that is going to be potentially disaster for the Crimean forces and, of course, the Ottoman Janissaries as well. We'll see how that plays out, but now we've got infantry and extra cav reserves charging into this. Look at this blob. Look at the arrows flying everywhere. The men fighting, the cav fighting, the guns. The guns opening fire, and here it comes. Crimean Khanate. They are sending up their infantry, and they are going to try to get in the thick of it. This is it. This is for all the marbles. They are going in. The general is still fighting for his life in the trees over here, trying to survive. But this, oh no, he's breaking. He's breaking. The general is breaking. This could be disasters or disastrous for the invaders. He's still hanging on, but I really don't see him coming out on this situation alive or winning. So yeah, look at the mosh pit going on here. Big clash of infantry now, and it started originally with just heavy cav, and now just infantry is pouring in from both sides. We got archer support in the back line from both sides, just opening fire, trying to kill as many invaders as possible. Let's go over to this side. A totally different experience on this side. The armies are taking it slow here. I think the Ottomans like this hill that they have here. So they're trying to use a little bit of the terrain to give them the advantage. Let's zoom in on these Janissaries. Oh, look at guys. They've got the bipod, or is that a tripod? I think it's a bipod. They got the bipod. They had it there for a second. I wish they would go back to shooting their guns. There it is. Look at that. How cool is that? How cool. Oh, yeah. And they are opening fire at, oh, yeah. Look at that. Oh, they are doing some big time damage. So I think that's why they're going with the defensive approach. But here's the thing. His ally is not going with the defensive approach. So it's making a little bit of a disconnect there, where if the Khanate forces, the Crimean forces, if they get defeated here, this could be disaster for the Ottomans. The Ottomans might have to get aggressive just so they can potentially beat their opponent in front of them, and then have to defeat the opponent that is going to defeat the Crimeans. Oh, look at these guns. Look at the infantry slowly advancing forward and getting hit with the guns. Let's do some. Oh, and there's a cav charge. A downhill cav charge. Looks like, what is this? Heavy. Oh, is that the general? That's the general of the Russians getting his spear wet. We're going to do some slow motion here and just kind of see the battle as it progresses, because we are reaching kind of near the end of the battle. The general is, God bless him, he's still fighting right here. He's down to 12 men. He's outnumbered. We've got a fresh cav here, the Eastern Chivalrous Knights. They are not going to go down anytime soon, and they most likely will kill the general of the invaders. Russia seems to be doing pretty good here. They've got to be careful because there's some pretty deadly crossbows. Look at these guys that are moving forward. If these guys really get to sit back and fire without any kind of harassment, this could be a challenge for the Tsardom of Russia. Let's go back over to the other side, because it looks like now there is a little bit of a big brawl going on between, this is mostly the Ottomans versus the other Russian army, and they are starting to collect some forces and cav, infantry and cav over in the center position. This would be more, it's center of the overall battle, but this is more their left from this perspective of the Russian army side. But notice the movement of troops. Notice how the Ottomans are now shifting infantry down this way. It's like a magnet just pulling these units into this brawl. And guys, it's a brawl. I mean, let's go back to normal speed and check out this brawl right here. Yeah, it is a bloody one. When the HUD is not turned on, it's hard to tell who's who. Thanks for these flags here. The Kiev flag, which gives it away who's Russia. All right, more forces coming in. We've got some guns getting into position. Let's see if they can get some shots here. We got to be careful. There's some cav nearby that could potentially charge them. There they go. They're setting up here, and boom. Oh, they're firing right. Looks almost like they're firing right into their own men. But no, they're firing into the Russian forces, so they're doing some good damage there. Again, they're relying heavily on these guns to give them a chance, but more and more infantry pouring this way. Same thing for the Russian forces. Over on this side, the general has been defeated for the Crimean Khanate, and he is going to flee the scene and pretend this never happened as the rest of his army continues to fight on. But as we see here, really all it's really coming down to are the crossbows, who are kind of set up in an awkward position. They're kind of column formation here, which is not good. I guess they're they're focusing on the cav, and they certainly are getting some good hits. That crossbow has that penetrating ability which can rip through the heavy armor of these knights. But the Knights have done their job. Of course, it's sad to see him die. They're going to try to charge in, though, to try to silence him. I love it. A bold, desperate charge. And it's mostly leading to their deaths. Here comes another unit closing in, trying to silence them. And it looks like this force here, which is mostly the Crimean Khanate, is going to meet their demise. And I think Russia is going to win on this front. But the other half of this battle is still unraveling. The Ottomans, the Janissaries here, are holding back a lot of Russian forces. Artillery going for some risky shots here, but if they can land it, they will certainly get a lot of kills on these Russian forces. Just like that. Just like that. If they can get another good shot, like, oh, they're just going for it. They are going for it. Look at that. They are going for the high kill plays. And that's kind of what they have to lean on here, because the Ottoman forces are gonna get outnumbered and potentially outmaneuvered, because he's gonna have to take on so many more units now that his ally has pretty much have been defeated. Yeah, they are on full rout. The Russian forces hold strong. So far, it's leaning towards a potential repeat in history. The balance of power is ever so slightly in favor of the Russian forces. So it's certainly looking good for the Tsardom of Russia. But we'll see if the Ottomans have any tricks up their sleeves, if they can do anything to pull them out of this tricky situation. Over this way, oh, look at this. The Devor have dropped their bows and are going in for a charge. Artillery firing overhead. It is a bloody mess. Now we've got shields coming in to try to prevent this cav, which they do. They do break the cav. But while they're trying to hold against that Devor cav charge, they are getting hit hard by these guns. Just utterly just crushed by these guns. The Janissaries, you can see them in the background, trying to fire back, trying to silence these guns as well. Now the archers are opening fire. The cannons are really close to the front line as well. So they're going to rely on projectiles, a ton of projectiles here. And the rest of their infantry is going to keep fighting. And it's still, I would say, a close fight over here. It's still hard to say who's going to take it, but that is not good for the Ottomans. Oh my gosh, look at the chaos of this fight. I love the arrow. I love watching the arrows fly overhead. It just makes it feel so much more chaotic. Look at that. Oh, so good. So good. But yeah, look, as we zoom out, the victorious Russians who dealt with their opponent, they are now going to take their extra troops and push around the Ottomans. And this is where trouble is starting to appear for the Ottomans. Units are breaking. He's now formed square formation with some halberdiers. That is a very bad sign indeed. And now we got horse archers making a mad dash. Look at this. For the gunners, and they are certainly going to be able to charge them without too much interference, because the spears are busy fighting in the front lines. Nothing is protecting these guns, and now the cav is having their way with them. So, wow. What a crazy fight indeed. That was awesome. The balance of power obviously in favor of the Russians, so it looks like history is going to repeat today, and the Crimean Khanate is not going to change history. They're not going to burn Moscow. Poor Moscow. I mean, everything it's been through, it's pretty inspiring that Moscow still stands today. But it's been burned down how many times throughout history? But yeah, really great battle there, guys. I think it just came down to, I think, you know, the Ottoman ally, the Crimean Khanate, they were just too aggressive. I think losing their general so early in the tree line, I don't know if the general was just ambushed. He didn't know there was enemy cav there. I'm not sure, but I think if he stayed back a little bit with his Ottoman ally, that or the Ottomans get aggressive. It's really tough to say, but it was a great battle. A Pyrrhic victory, but Total War standards of Pyrrhic victory, I don't know. I would say this was a pretty decisive victory. It wasn't that close, but it wasn't like completely one-sided the whole time, that's for sure. So let's end the replay and look at the results. Okay, so like I said, Cassius is the one who sent this in. I want to give him another big thank you. He did a fantastic job in this battle, and so did his ally Zillis, and they, like I said, are going to repeat history. There's some insane kills. Look at these guns. 331, 334. The guns axe. They racked up some kills. I mean, the infantry did great as well, but it really all came down to the guns. This archer did really well as well. Let's look at the Ottomans. The Ottomans also racked up a lot of kills with their guns. One getting 342 kills, but it just wasn't enough to take the day. And we now look at the Crimean Khanate. And let's see, I don't think they had guns, actually. The artillery, though, the Khvorostinin getting 364 kills. That is impressive. But again, I think his infantry just lacked. I mean, one got 200, but the rest got barely any kills. So they just got slaughtered, probably by the guns. The crossbows doing a decent job as well. Getting over, most of them getting over 100 kills or at 100 kills. So that's going to wrap it up, guys, for today's historic battle. I hope you enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed making it. So thank you guys so much for the support, and I will see you next time on the battlefield.